Hello and welcome to today's Worksite Wellness Lunch and Learn. We're so glad you could join us. Ever feel like eating healthy means making the same meals over and over? Well, healthy eating definitely doesn't have to be boring. Today, Katie Godin from Lifestyle Medical Center will tell us how we can make eating well more fun. And with Halloween and several other holidays just around the corner, you can apply Katie's ideas, tips, and tricks to make your meal planning over the next few months a more festive affair. Katie has been practicing as a registered dietitian for 17 years. She focuses on helping individuals improve their knowledge and relationship with food and meet their personal goals. Help. Lifestyle Medical Center is an in network nutrition counseling service. For employees enrolled in the state health plan, both virtual and in person visits are covered at 100% for in network providers. The state health plan has in network dietitians across the state. To find one near you, log into your state health plan portal using the link listed on this slide. As a reminder, everyone who registered for this event will receive a recording of today's presentation, as well as the recipe and a few helpful handouts from Lifestyle Medical Center. To find past Lunch and Learn recordings and see our sessions for the rest of the year, visit our website at oshr.nc.gov/wellness-webinars. During the presentation, you can submit questions through the Q&A, and members of our NC Flex team will help answer them. Additionally, Katie will save a few minutes at the end of the presentation for any questions we're unable to get to. Now, let's lunch and learn.
Thank you, Sierra. Hey, everybody. This should be a fun topic, I think. This is actually what we're going to be making today, this picture that you see, which is so fun. I am very excited to demonstrate it. And maybe you've made something like this before, but I'm hoping maybe not, because it's such a fun twist, to kind of turn food into these fun creations. I think oftentimes we think about making food for kids like this, but sometimes the adults need the fun factor also. So we'll be talking a lot about the importance of the why behind why we need to make healthy food more fun. And then also lots of examples. And this is going to be a holiday foods edition as Halloween kicks off that holiday season for us all, and lots of different opportunities, whether you're just at home having dinner and wanting to jazz things up, or of course, if you're going somewhere and you want to bring something kind of that has a fun flair to it, but that's also has that healthy spin at the same time. All right. And as Sierra mentioned, Lifestyle Medical Centers is in network with the state health plan. So if you have been wanting to check us out, you've been doing these lunch and learns for a while, and you're just kind of curious about that next step, I have the link to our website down there at the bottom. Click on it. You can, kind of reach out. There's a button on our website to kind of push says contact us now, and we'll get in touch with you and answer any questions that you have about the program. But our website is pretty nice and informative as well. All right, let's get right into it, and let's kind of start talking about the benefits of making food fun. And this was kind of a nostalgic picture, with the little ants on the log here. This is kind of one of those first foods that I can remember being served as a kid that had multiple things in there that I don't know that we all loved kind of growing up, like, kind of given solo, right? Like, give me some celery without, the flair to it. I don't think so. Even raisins weren't my favorite thing in the world, but you put it in front of me like this, and I have a lot of fun with it, especially if I get to put it together. And I think that's something that we try to teach, again, not just kids here, adults too, that when you kind of make food look a little bit more presentable and it's not so, same old all the time, and experiment with some of these foods that maybe you just think you don't like, never will, never have, I think it's good to challenge ourselves. So the benefits here of making food fun, it really can aid with selective eating habits. So, that's why we encourage people to kind of start off young with their children, trying to encourage kids to eat a variety of different foods, getting them involved. It helps build a positive relationship with food versus this fear. Sometimes it really is scary, right? Like, even as adults, I mean, you think about foods that you just do not like. And you think, and I know in sessions I'll mention it to people, well, what about this food? What about that food? What are your preferences? And there's, these are non-negotiable. I will not eat them. And we'll kind of talk about the why. And a lot of times it really does stem back into the childhood era. So I think starting off young is really important, with that developing healthy eating habits at an early age focus. It definitely can help make meal prep or excuse me, make meal prep more engaging and exciting, just to be figuring out fun ways to experiment with how to prep food, put food together. We get more excited about eating it, of course. Can also pull you out of food ruts. So when Sierra had mentioned in the beginning, kind of eating the same food over and over and over. And I think a lot of times when we are kind of embarking on this journey of a healthy eating habits. A lot of times people have this misconception when they're speaking with me that you have to eat whatever said food all of the time. Salad, right? That's kind of a common one I get. Like, oh, I guess I got to start eating salads all the time again. No, not necessarily. Sure, a salad can be a great addition to your meal plan, but you don't have to eat a salad every day for lunch in order to be healthy. So, pulling you out of food ruts by experimenting with new fun ways of eating foods is definitely a benefit, and helping you reconnect with the enjoyment of eating. We're going to get tired of eating the same old bland foods over and over again. And what does that end up doing? It ends up pushing us into, getting off the path of our healthy eating habits. We start to rebound and start to maybe dive back into unwanted habits just because we're bored or we're just, not satisfied. We have to have a fun factor, in my opinion, to the way that we're eating. But also, in the same breath, I will say not every food is going to give us fireworks here. I worked with someone that said that, and it's kind of just stuck with me. Sometimes we have to connect to the food that we're eating is helping to make me feel good and give me energy, and it's what I have available to me right now. But we certainly need to plan for food to be an enjoyment factor in our lives at the same time. And just to kind of top it off, your studies do show that enjoying meals can improve digestion, reduce stress, and build stronger relationships. So the anxiety digestion side of things kind of goes hand in hand. Sometimes when we're feeling really stressed, it can affect the way that our GI tract is working, and that can affect our digestive tract and our digestion in general. So and the building stronger relationships is going to be kind of all around with yourself and with other people. So I think, yeah, there's lots to making food fun. So lots of benefits there. So let's talk about the reverse. Why does mealtime fun fade? So busy schedules is definitely one of them. I think that for, a family like mine, which I know is like many others, you've got kids, or maybe you don't have kids, but you just have busy jobs, you have extracurriculars after work, you have other commitments. Maybe we're taking care of our elderly parents. Maybe we're, taking care of those young kids. There's lots of different reasons, but typically we all just have busy schedules and we don't have time to sit down and designate a proper amount of time for meal planning and for thinking out ideas. And that's one thing that I think a lot of people get out of the nutrition sessions, if I'm being honest. It's a designated amount of time. And just to give you guys a little snapshot, our visits, aside from the very first, which is a little bit longer, are 20 minutes long. So it's not taking a lot of time out of your day. A lot of times I think it's just this really nice time to connect, talk about you, help with the meal planning side of things. We do that a lot. Some other things that or reasons why mealtime might fade is feelings of food being off limit, feeling like kind of I just mentioned when we are starting on this healthy eating journey, we have to avoid ABCD, no pizza, no ice cream, no this, no that. There's no off limit foods. Okay. I am not someone that says that that uses the word can't. So I think it's all about having this nice, healthy balance. And I think we do oftentimes need to connect with the fact that certain foods eaten in certain settings and in certain ways and in certain amounts will make us feel a certain way. And I think that's a really great connection for people to um, to kind of figure out over time, but we definitely need to allow lots of different foods in our day and our week so that we are feeling satisfied. That repetition with meals can create that lack of fun. Some disconnected eating habits. We talk about this a lot as well. I like to bring up how people eat. And so when we eat while we're distracted, and that could be at the computer, that could be while watching TV, that could be standing up and walking around the house. These are not opportunities for you to really sit down and connect with the food and figure out, hey, am I enjoying this? Am I not enjoying this? What do I like about it? These are important things for you to understand about food. So when we're distracted, we don't pick up on those things. Eating alone, sometimes we eat alone, then that's really okay. It's not the fact that eating alone all of the time is what I'm talking about. So if you're at work and you sit at your desk, let's find a friend. Let's go outside. It's such a gorgeous week this week. So maybe this is great opportunity for you guys to take your lunch, head outside, get away from the screens, eat less distracted, have, that fun conversation. These can help you connect with the food as well. And then some studies show that up to 1/3 of families sit in silence at dinner. Unbelievable, but I'm not, honestly, it is very believable. I just find that really unfortunate. But the fact that we have phones and screens and a lot of things on when we're eating kind of is the reason behind the silence. We're doing something else, we're not connecting. And that can really bring about a fun enjoyment factor to the mealtime. All right, so let's talk about some simple solutions that will equal hopefully more enjoyment at mealtime. So, meal planning creativity, which again, that's why I'm here. That's what dietitians help with. So, I get that this could be a struggle for a lot of people. This is a barrier, is not knowing how to make mealtime fun. I'll have lots of ideas today for you, but in general, sometimes it's just the day to day instead of today. I'm talking a lot about kind of fun holiday foods and appetizers and things to kind of make the food look fun. But just in general, having good meal planning creativity, and that does not mean difficult. So I'm not talking about recipes with 20 ingredients and feeling like there has to be this challenging factor to how you put the meal together. I'm talking about theme nights, for example, getting the family involved. I liked this one thing that I saw that kind of alluded to this mystery box where you have lots of different meals that people are putting in there. You can do it any way that you want to. I envision a big mason jar or some type of box of some kind. Anyway, that you can kind of tear off pieces of paper, family members write down different meal ideas and put them in. Remember there's healthy spends on any meal. What's most important is that people feel like they have a say, kids included, in the meal planning. And so that can make it more fun for the entire family. And trust me, when your kids are connected at mealtime, parents are going to feel a lot more connected too, instead of that constant battle around, I don't want to eat this, I don't want to eat that, right? Cooking together, that could mean, whether you're roommates or with a spouse or with a friend. I remember one of my favorite things that I used to do when I was in college was when me and my roommate finally would have some good time together where we weren't, off in our separate locations, but we had time and we would cook a meal together. It was so much fun. And so I think that can bring about some enjoyment. Playful plating, having fun bowls, ramekins, fun plates to eat off of. Sometimes it's not about, making the food look like like this pizza here, which is really pretty though, but look like a rainbow. But it's about, having fun utensils, having fun things involved in the meal. So thinking about that outside of the box too. Picnics. I think these are so fun, whether you're indoors or outdoors. So, when the weather gets a little bit, cooler, and obviously you maybe can't get outside as much, maybe you have a fireplace, you can kind of set up a blanket in front of the fireplace and you guys all eat on the floor. Environment is one way of making mealtime more fun. I live kind of close to the North Carolina Art Museum, and one thing that I think is so fun is when I kind of am walking, and I don't go there as often as I wish that I could, but when I walk and I see people with their blanket and they're having a picnic, and it looks like so much fun. So sometimes it's taking that same old, maybe easy, simple meal that you might do at home and taking it somewhere where you're in a different environment to keep the fun going. Okay. Adding fun to your plate. So color variety. One thing that I love about my setup over here, which I've kind of just been looking at, and so many different colors, and I'll show it to you obviously here in just a little bit, but so many different colors. And that is fun. It's fun to look and see a lot of color variety. It's more aesthetically pleasing to the eye, and you're going to be more likely to want to try it. Doesn't mean that everything that you experiment with and try, you're going to love either. And that's okay. That's not the point. The point is that you're reaching out of your comfort zone, you're stepping outside of the norm, and you're trying new things, and you're having hopefully some fun with it in the process. Maybe we're playing with shapes. I know when my kids were a little bit younger, I would do little cookie cutter sandwiches and things like that. We can do that for adults. It doesn't mean that you can't, just because you're whatever age. Have fun with it. So edible containers, and when I say containers, I mean, like, I have a picture here. I've made these before. They're really good. I think I have the link there at the bottom. So there are these little mini pepper nachos. So good. I've also done it with sweet potatoes. So you can either do like sweet potato fries, or you can kind of slice the sweet potato into really thin strips, and they almost look like tortilla or chips, if you will. Anyway, that's kind of a fun way of experimenting with something different. And sometimes when we're trying to experiment with new foods, I will tell people, maybe, for example, since I've got nachos on the brain here, since I've got it looking right at me, instead of just doing the mini peppers, maybe we're doing a sheet pan of half mini peppers, half regular nachos, right? So one thing for kids and adults is when we're trying new foods in a different way, when we're looking at our plate, we want to see safe foods. All right. And maybe there's a better word out there than safe, because I feel like that means the other is dangerous, but it obviously isn't. But you guys know what I mean. So a comfort food, a comfortable option that you're going to like, where the other is new. And I think that's really important when you're trying lots of new things out, is to have something on your plate that feels familiar. So that's a really big, important side note for children also. Um, Layering, stacking. I have a bento box example here, which is another really fun way to put a lunch together. I talk to people about creating snack for lunch options all of the time to make it fun. I think when we have a lot of different options that we're looking at, it feels like it feels really great, right? Like we feel like we're not stuck to just this lettuce and this chicken. We have all these different options here. So when you stack things like in that little toothpick, a little cheese cube, and maybe some little turkey rolled up, and you just kind of do that over and over. Maybe a little more involvement here, but maybe it's kind of fun to put stuff like this together. So experimenting with different containers. We have a little mini, not mini, but regular silicone muffin tin liners that you can use to kind of put things in, mini bowls, those types of things. So, but yeah, I think having fun, getting creative is key. Okay. So let's talk briefly beyond the plate. So creating that fun atmosphere, which I kind of have already talked a little bit about, but designing the table. that can be fun because that's where we want to end up. Okay. And I get every night isn't going to be like that, but we want to eventually meet up at the table sometimes, right? Like, so we want to have a fun, maybe table setup, get the kids involved. Do we have fresh flowers out in the yard? Do we send the kids out there to go pick some fresh flowers to put in a little basin? We put that on the table. This is also a great way of getting the kids involved during mealtime so that they're maybe letting you prep and do some things to get the meal on the table. Um, Getting some fun candles, lighting, obviously, parents' discretion here if you want your children handling this one, but in general, just having some fun lighting, some fun candles, dimming the lights, making a more appealing atmosphere. I think I mentioned trying fun utensils, plates, and things like that. Soft music in the background is really nice. Sometimes when we set the mood like this, also just to note, you tend to eat a little bit slower and slow your pace a little bit down. When we decrease the chaos, we tend to eat a little bit more intentional. And that in turn can help with things like the digestion, the mindfulness, the connection to the food, the enjoyment of the meal. So these are all important things to consider beyond the actual plate of food. Incorporating games into your dinner. This is something that I've always want to do, but then never do it. We do try to ask, obviously, things like, how was your day? Tell me something fun. That's sometimes just good enough, right? But I do like the idea of, would you rather do this or that? Maybe you have a conversation jar. Christmas is coming, and something really fun that I saw that maybe some of you guys have seen before or even have. We do not have anything like this. Maybe would be a good stocking stuffer. Are little conversation cards and targeted towards families. And I just think that is so cool, a really cool concept at dinner. So it really allows for the connection together as a family, and you will be connected more into the meal, into the food, if you're connected in that way as well. So all right. All right, guys. Let's get into the food side of things, though. So I tried to link recipes, I'm pretty sure, on every single slide. So you have a lot of different recipes to go home with, but sometimes you can just eyeball the picture. You don't really need a recipe, but sometimes I know it's nice to have one just in case. So we are going to go through lots of different fun holiday themed foods that maybe you can do to jazz up dinner. You do not have to be going over to someone's house to put together a fun little caprese candy cane. Okay. You can do this at home, and maybe your kids enjoy putting it together. Maybe you enjoy putting it together so that you're more likely to eat something like this at your meal. All right. So first, of course, to kind of go along with the Halloween theme first, these are adorable in my opinion. Now, let me give you a little bit of a modification. So I ended up doing these last year for my son's kindergarten class, and we had so much fun putting them together. Um, it's kind of a nice idea to maybe even have some of this stuff ready for children to snack on. I think that that's kind of nice, and adults. So, but that's little piece of celery that's in the middle. So what we ended up doing was offering celery or sliced green grape slivers. So I just cut a green grape into 4 pieces. And so kids could pick between celery and grape. So that was a little modification, but these are so cute and so fun and good for all ages. And yeah, so that's fun to start. And then this is what we're going to be making today, which I've already said how much fun. I'm excited to make this. So making a guacamole, sometimes children, adults, I know I'll ask people when I'm, uh, counseling someone, will usually get to the point where we talk about avocado. I kind of love it a lot. So I'll feel out like, are you an avocado lover too? And a lot of times people will say yes. but then a lot of times people will say no. And so that's fair. Now, I will say sometimes people haven't had it in a while. So I'll say experiment, try new things, right? Try new things out. Get your kids involved. Just because you don't like it, maybe you want to encourage your children to try. So making a fresh homemade guacamole tastes totally different. In my opinion, it just adds so much more flavor and you can jazz it up however you want to. Um, so anyway, yes, this is one of my favorite things to do. I do like to do this every Halloween. We'll go over to the neighbors and I bring the little Frankenstein guacamole, and everyone at least tries it. Okay. Everyone tries it. Sometimes the kids are like, I don't, no, thank you. And that's fine. But it usually gets eaten. Okay. This I chose this layered Greek hummus because it has so many beautiful colors. We're kind of leaning more into the holidays, to Thanksgiving, Christmas time frame. This is obviously does not need a holiday in order to enjoy any of these recipes. So this is very basic, and I think that that's one thing that I feel is really important. Is when you're trying new things out, you want to have kind of keep it simple. So you can make your own hummus or you can buy hummus. Same with the guac. You can get a holy guacamole. You can buy hummus already made. It's up to you how much, work you want to put into it. But here, you can kind of add lots of different things, but they've got the Greek spin on it with some feta cheese and some Kamata olives, and there's cucumbers and tomatoes. So there's lots of beautiful green, red, and I think that that just kind of is so aesthetically pleasing to see these really pretty holiday colors. And again, any time of year would be delicious, but I just thought it looked really pretty for the upcoming holiday season. This is a roasted veggie snack plate, which I thought was really fun because a lot of times those cooked vegetables don't get into the equation. You can have a mixture of raw and cooked, but I love the roasted aspect. So a roasted veggie combination here, butternut squash, some cherry tomatoes. Then there's some fruit. I love a snack plate. I think that these are great for introducing lots of different things. Anytime I go somewhere, I like to make something along the lines of like this. If I'm going over to someone's house and they've asked me to bring something, I'm usually like, I'll bring some type of, snack plate slash charcuterie slash veggie, whatever. Make my own creations. And I think it's really fun. And you can get as involved as you would like to in it. But having these really pretty veggies as well as fruits intermixed here, lots of different colors. Then, of course, you kind of find pockets where you might add these little nuts, get a couple cute containers, put some dips in, shove some crackers in there. Very simple. And it's a way for you to ask, the family, hey, I'm going to put together a snack plate for dinner tonight. We've definitely done this for dinner time where we might have this alongside some other protein that's involved, and people get their say, I want this on there, I want that on there. And it's really kind of a fun way to, get lots of people's ideas into it and have lots of different lovely nutrients. And so, yeah, I wanted to put a snack plate on here. Oh, this is so cute, isn't it? I've never made anything like this, but I really want to. I think that maybe I'll try this year. I mean, it looks so cute. I mean, sometimes when you just see veggies like this, I promise you, everybody is going to be more likely to eat them. So this has a recipe, so you can kind of see, a dip involved. You can do any kind of dip you want in here. So you could do like a homemade Greek yogurt slash ranch dip. You could do a tzatziki. You could do hummus. You could do guac. So, but again, this is just one of many examples of how you can kind of turn something pretty boring into something pretty fun and exciting to look at. And really, This would not take that long to make. I think the only chopping that I see here really are those cucumbers and the peppers. So looks so cute. I wanted to put a fruit dip on here just because I think dips are always really fun over the holidays. And again, really anytime if you're at home, just, wanting to jazz up your fruit for dinner that night. Maybe this is a dessert option for you and your family. This is a really fun one. Honestly, as I'm thinking about it, maybe it'll even be a surprise feature before the end of the year because I really think that having something to jazz up fruit can make this really more enticing for a lot of different reasons. So this is a peanut butter fruit dip, which, lots of different options out there for fruit dips too. You don't have to do peanut butter focus. You could do some type of fruit slash yogurt situation. But yeah, so I think a fruit dip is a great addition to the holiday season. This is another really fun one. So it kind of looks similar spin to the candy cane, but this is more of a wreath, which again, so easy to put this together. Not a lot of preparing, not a lot of chopping. You just get your little mozzarella balls, your cherry tomatoes, and your basil, and maybe a drizzle of some olive oil, some salt, maybe some pepper, and voila, you have a lovely little caprese wreath. And what you'll do is take some type of jar, mason jar, maybe a good size, put it in the middle of your plate, and then kind of do your design around that so that it creates that easy circle in the middle. So yeah, this is a really fun one, and again, just very easy to put together. I'm pretty sure I've made this one for you guys. If you tune into these regularly, probably last holiday season. So, this is my absolute favorite dip to bring anywhere over the holiday season. Everyone absolutely loves it. It adds so much fun, so much flavor, so much good nutrients with the pomegranate arils, with the pistachios. There's a hot honey that you drizzle over it, which you could just do regular honey. You don't even have to do the hot honey, but it's a whipped feta and really, really good. And it isn't hard to make. You do need a food processor, but other than that, it's not a lot of complicated steps involved other than just whipping up that feta and then adding your toppings on top here. I think there's fresh thyme in here as well, which really has such a nice pizzazz, and it just kind of screams holiday season to me. So again, when you look at something, you think, oh, I don't know that I would like that, but it looks so pretty, you'd be more willing to try it. So a Christmas tree cheese plate. I mean, how cute is this? So this is also something to present when you want healthy snacks around the house during the holiday season. We have good protein. We've got good fiber from those fruits. You could change up the fruit to, include lots of different colors here. So anyway, this one seemed super simple. Now the star crackers, I don't know about. I don't know that I've seen the star crackers before. Those are pretty cool. But anyway, I thought that was really cute. And this might be the last one, but how adorable is this? These little Grinch kebabs. So again, we've got skewers, we've got a fun little flair to the way that it looks. All signs point. I mean, there's a mini marshmallow on top. I mean, how would you not want to eat that, right? So we have a little fun. And again, this could be just the right amount of sweetness for a dessert after dinner, those Christmas time, cravings that we get, that we want sweets, having stuff like this around, maybe just what we all need, not just those children, the adults too. All right, guys, I am going to get started on our Frankenstein guacamole here and get into the ingredients. And you guys have any questions at any point, just kind of let me know. But I love this recipe. Now, there's there's definitely a recipe to follow, but you can make this your own. I mean, there's suggestions here on how to make Frankenstein here look, but with the guacamole itself, there's those standard ingredients, but you can ad lib, you can, kind of change it up however you want to. But I'm going to go through the ingredients that I'm going to be using today. And the first thing that I'm going to do is put our guac together. All right. So the first thing I have is, of course, the avocados. So I've got about 3 medium-sized avocados that I have mashed, squirted a little bit of lime in there. So anytime you are making this ahead of time, so for us, I'm obviously going to save this until the whole family is around. So lots of lime juice, guys, to keep it from browning. You do kind of want to eat this promptly. And what do you know? It's Taco Tuesday. So this is going to go great with dinner tonight with my little Frankenstein guacamole. Everyone's going to love it, I'm sure. And yeah, so if you're making it ahead of time, lots of lime juice. That acidity will help it from oxidizing and turning brown. If it does turn a little bit brown, that's okay. Just kind of, mash the fork. It doesn't mean it's gone bad. But over the course of 2 to 3 days, yes, you want to eat this up, within that day or so. So it's great for bigger crowds of people, especially if you have any Halloween parties coming up. This would be a really fun one to impress a lot of people, and it's not very hard. So we've got our avocado here. What else do we have? We have some Roma tomatoes that I've chopped up. So just kind of chopped up finely. Believe I just used one Roma tomato here. Again, guac is really to you is your call. You can add as little or as much of any of this as you'd like. These are simply just some suggestions, but definitely tomato. I love tomato in my guacamole. I have a lot of red onion, 1/4 cup here. So I do like red onion in my guac. Sometimes people might not like that, so you just omit that altogether. Just for a little bit of heat, there's only half of a jalapeno, so I have that chopped up pretty fine here. Okay. I have a clove of garlic, which is a really nice addition. So that just a little bit of garlic is great. And I have half a lime that I'm going to squeeze over it once I mix all of this together. So that's what we're going to do first. I'm going to make this guac. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to take them at any time. All right, so I'm just mixing this all up. Oh, it looks so good. Oh, I love guac, you guys. Oh, all right. Okay, I'm going to squeeze that lime. It doesn't call for any salt, but I'm going to just do a little couple twists here, okay? Um, If you're on a low sodium diet, omit the salt, of course. But a couple twists or, just like a pinch of salt within it isn't going to do much. Okay. Maybe add just a little bit of something. All right. There we go. Okay. I'm going to move some of the stuff out of the way here. Okay, so I'm going to bring over my platter. I chose kind of a large platter so that I have a little bit of room here to work with and kind of get my creative juices flowing here and make sure I have enough space. But you can use what you have, okay? You can make smaller versions of this. You don't have to make the large, big version, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my guac and I'm going to just kind of, take a spatula and press it down the bottom half of this platter, kind of in that rectangular shape, so that I can start to decorate the face. And then I'm going to put the hair on, which is the chips. It was so fun. All right. Here we go. Everyone see that? Okay. Gonna kind of spread this out as best I can. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. I think that's looking good. All right. So now I am going to, what am I going to do first? I'm going to put the scar on. So I've got some red pepper. So we're going to put a little scar over here. We're going to do some eyes. We're going to do kind of a jagged mouth. And then we're going to put the hair on. So for the scar, I'm going to be using red pepper slices, which I just cut in some thin strips here. Okay. So I'm going to just kind of, and again, you guys have fun with this. This is not about being perfect, but I'm just kind of looking at the picture here. And let's see. Here we go. That looks good to me. All right. So we have our little scar there. All right. Now I'm going to use some black olives. I'm going to put the eye on and the nose. So we're going to have our eye go here, eye go there. Okay. And then we'll put our little nose on. Boom. Um, I took some carrots. It called for matchstick carrots, like kind of shredded carrots, if you will. But I wanted ones that were a little bit chunkier. Sorry, sometimes I know the audio, my voice can get muffled when I have my screen down. So I took a baby carrot and cut it up into, I think I quartered it lengthwise, right? So just making them a little bit thicker than those matchsticks were really thin. So I just chose to do it this way. All right. So now we're going to create this little mouth. So I think what I'm going to do is do 2 carrots here. Okay. And we're going to just take a couple carrots and make little kind of tent looking. I'll move it up just a little bit. Okay, he is looking good. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I took it calls for sour cream. I have plain Greek yogurt around, which is a great substitute. And you just take a little bit of that sour cream and put it in a Ziploc bag. And I just snipped the tiniest little bit of the end so that it's just easy to squirt into the little hole of this black olive. All right. You can completely just take a small spoon and dollop a little bit. But anyway, this is fun though, right? Okay. All right. So we have one eye done. And the second eye is done. Oh, it's so cute. Okay. All right, guys, I am going to take some blue corn tortillas. All right, any brand is fine. I just this is what I got. I think it might have been on sale. So some blue corn tortillas, and I'm gonna create his hair, and that's it. So, all right. All right. All right, guys. He is done. I can't lift him up, but I'm gonna try to angle my computer here a little bit. He's so cute. Yeah, that's it. So anyway, I hope that you guys try this. It was so fun to make. So simple, really. And like I said, you can get as involved or uninvolved with the guacamole. Questions? Any questions out there?
Not really. You were able to answer them during the presentation.
Perfect. Okay, great. Well, good. I know I'm finishing up a little bit early, but yeah, this was kind of a quick but fun one. So I look forward to seeing everyone in November. Can't remember the topic off the top of my head, but might be insulin resistance. So that's a good one actually to kind of chat through. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, I hope everyone has a wonderful Halloween and start to the holiday season and enjoying this beautiful fall weather.
All right. Thank you so much, Katie.
You're very welcome. Take care.